Board meeting for July 15, 2014. I call this meeting to order and I ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Ahrens? Here. Kammerer?
Here.
Carbonaro?
Here.
Martin?
Here.
Ranky?
Here.
Shipman?
Here.
President Wallace?
Here. And I ask Reverend Susan Tyrell to deliver the invocation.
On behalf of Emmanuel United Church of Christ right here in Bartlett, I thank you for allowing me to offer prayer. So let us be in the spirit of prayer. Holy One of all, we thank you that you have blessed us to be able to live in this day, a day that you have provided. As the rhythm of your world both confounds and astonishes us, we ask for your centering spirit to surround us, that each may turn heart and mind away from the events of the daytime hours and focus here. May we seek you in the midst of it all, that your Spirit would guide and direct on this night of discovery, discussion, and decision-making. May your presence be known as the people of Bartlett seek to make noble and equitable choices for all. In your abiding presence, we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a few odds and ends that were added to the agenda at the last minute, so if you're following along, it might not go as exact as the agenda you have in front of you. But the next point we consider is the consent agenda. All the items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and to be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at the appropriate point on the agenda. Is there anything at this point anyone would like to add to the consent agenda?
Mr. President, I'd like to remove items D, 8, and 9 from the consent agenda, please.
Okay.
I'd like to add F1 to the consent agenda.
All right. I entertain a motion to amend the consent agenda to remove items D8 and D9, the Bartlett Chamber Heritage Days Amplifier Permit Request, and Bartlett Chamber Heritage Days Carnival License Request, and to add item F1, the Hickory San Diego Water Main Project bid.
So moved. Second.
It's moved by Trustee Kammerer, seconded by Trustee Martin. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes.
Kammerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes.
That motion carries. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the Board and Committee meeting from July 1st, 2014, the bills list from July 15th, 2014, and Christ Community Church Amplifier Request, Zamora Amplifier Permit Request, BAPS Amplifier Permit Request, Curcio Amplifier Permit Request, Jane Center Amplifier Permit Request, Marco's Pizza Amplifier Permit Request, Marco's Pizza Grand Opening Licensing and Agreement, Sonic Drive-In Special Display Permit Request, and the Hickory San Diego Water Main Project bids.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Trustee Shipman, seconded by Trustee Martin. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes.
Kammerer?
Here.
Carbonaro?
Here.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes.
That motion carries. Okay.
I'm assuming.
Okay. I did.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is the Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start out this evening with the sales tax report for the month ended June 2014. Our fiscal year-to-date revenue for sales tax is $178,983 It represents a 0.07% increase from the same time period last year. Moving on to the motor fuel tax allotment report. Fiscal year-to-date revenue through June 2014, $186,877, and it represents an 11.52% increase over the same time period last year.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the President's Report. We have an addition to the President's Report, the National Night Out Proclamation, which I will be reading. Whereas the National Association of Town Watch, NCW, and Target are sponsoring a unique nationwide crime, drug, and violence prevention program on Tuesday, August 5th, 2014, entitled National Night Out. And whereas the 31st Annual Night Out provides an exceptional opportunity for Bartlett, Illinois to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative police and community crime prevention efforts. And whereas the Village of Bartlett plays a vital role in assisting the Bartlett Police Department through joint crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in Bartlett, Illinois, and supporting National Night Out 2014 locally. And whereas it is essential all citizens of Bartlett be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and understand the impact their participation can have on reducing crime and violence in Bartlett. And whereas police community partnerships, neighborhood safety, awareness, and cooperation are essential themes of the National Night Out program. Now, therefore, I, Village President Kevin Wallace, do hereby call upon all citizens of Bartlett, Illinois, to join the Village of Bartlett and the National Association of Town Watch in supporting the 31st Annual National Night Out on Tuesday, August 5th, 2014. Further, let it be resolved that I, Village President Kevin Wallace, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 5th, 2014 as National Night Out in Bartlett, Illinois. Thank you very much. Proclamation for BAPS 10th anniversary recognition. Proclamation recognizing BAPS Dryer, Swamp, Narayan, Mandir, and its 10th anniversary in Bartlett. Whereas the BAPS Dryer, Swamp, Narayan, Mandir, along Route 59 in Bartlett, Illinois, was an inspiration to spiritual leader Swami Mahara, who envisioned a supreme mandir that would serve as a place of worship and prayer for many followers of Hinduism in the Chicago area. Whereas in 2002, more than 1,700 volunteers embarked upon the building project, donating some 2.5 million man-hours, and in just 16 months constructing a breathtaking facility of Turkish and Indian limestone and Italian marble, all hand-carved in India before being shipped to Bartlett and assembled. And whereas the exceptional design and engineering of the mandir has brought positive recognition to Bartlett, earning 2005 Merit Award for new construction in the suburbs from Chicago Building Congress, and also being named one of the 150 great places in Illinois by the American Institute of Architects. And whereas even more important than bringing us this stunning physical structure, the BAPS community simultaneously enriched our culture, nurtured our understanding and compassion through such socio-spiritual activities as the annual walkathon and the yearly health fair, provided us with an impressive testament to caring and community service. Whereas since the auspicious day of August 8, 2004, the mandir was consecrated and open to the public, you have introduced us to new festivals, new foods, new music, new traditions, and new occasions to celebrate. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Wallace, President of the Village of Bartlett, Cook, Page, and King Counties, do hereby proclaim July 29th through August 4th, BAPS Try Swam Marian Mandir Week in the Village of Bartlett, and invite everyone in the village to offer their congratulations on this milestone anniversary. In just 10 short years, the BAPS community in Bartlett has become a great and valued part of our whole community, and we look forward to celebrating many more anniversaries with you, our good friends. Last portion of the President's Report is Bartlett Chamber Chamber of Commerce has submitted an application for a Class D liquor license for Heritage Days Festival at Leisburg Park on September 5th, 6th, and 7th. I hope you all attend. The Class D liquor license allows for the retail sale of alcohol for a special event. The certificate of insurance has been reviewed and approved. The application and certificate of insurance are attached. I've reviewed this and move to approve the Class D liquor license application of Bartlett Chamber of Commerce for a community event September 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2014 at Leisburg Park.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Aaron's,
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ranky,
Abstain.
Shipman.
Yes.
Motion carries. That liquor, I would intend to issue that license. And that moves us on to question and answer. At this point, is there any questions the board has? Hearing none, move on to Town Hall. At this point in the meeting, if anyone in the audience would like to address the board, we ask that you step up to the podium. Please state your name and address, just for the record, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the board at this time? Could you step up to the podium, please? Just state your name and address just for the record.
Myself is Deepak Sharma, 1439 Snowdrift Circle, Bartlett. I went to community center today to file application for the amplifier permit, and they didn't take my application because the August 5th meeting is cancelled, and my son's birthday is on August 16.
Yeah, if you can bring it here, we'll vote on it right now.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
This was discussed to us earlier, and essentially, it's just the same as every other amplifier permit. So Deepak Sharma, 1439 Snowdrift Circle, requesting an amplifier permit. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the amplifier permit.
So moved. Second.
It's moved by Trustee Martin, seconded by Trustee Carbonaro. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Aaron's,
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ranky,
Yes.
Shipman.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you for coming in.
Don't tell anybody how easy that was, okay?
All right. Is there anybody else that would like to address the board at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to standing committee reports. First standing committee report is under Planning and Zoning, chaired by Trustee Cameron.
Thank you, President Wallace. There are 2 items on the Planning and Zoning Committee this evening. The first of which is the position for a 5-foot variation from the required 40-foot rear yard of Ernest and Megan McBrarty to construct a 20.5 by 17.5 two-story addition at 1313 Richmond Lane, Bartlett. The existing house is 51 foot from the rear property line. If the variation is granted, the addition would be 35 feet from the rear property line and 16 feet from the side property line. The impervious surface of this lot with the addition will be 28%, which is below the 35% maximum surface. This size lot, which is zoned SR3 PUD, the Zoning Board of Appeals conducted a public hearing on July 3rd on the petitioner's petition for the rear yard variation and recommended approval. With that, I move to pass Ordinance 2014-57, an ordinance granting a rear yard variance for 1313 Richmond Lane.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Cameron, seconded by Trustee Martin. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Aaron's,
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ranky,
Yes.
Shipman.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Okay. The second item is the petition to allow a 6-foot high fence in the corner side yard of the property commonly known as 511 Orchards Pass, Bartlett. The owners are Arthur and Barbara McCulloch. Originally filed a petition for variation for 6-foot high wooden fence located just off the property line. 3-foot fences are allowed as of right in the corner side yard. At the June 5, 2014 Zoning Board of Appeals public hearing, the ZBA failed to make a positive recommendation. To address the concerns raised by the ZBA, the owners amended their petition and plans and are now proposing a 6-foot high lattice-top vinyl fence located 10 foot off the property line but still in the corner side yard. The public hearing was held on July 3, 2014 on the amended petition for a variation, and the ZBA recommended approval and made requisite findings of fact. With that, I move the passage of Ordinance 2014-58, an ordinance granting a fence variation for 511 Orchards Pass as presented.
Second.
Any
Been
questions
moved
by
by
the...
Trustee Kammer, seconded by Trustee Martin. Is there any discussion?
Well, they're moving it back that many feet. Is that, does that preclude any other ordinances that we have? In other words, why are they here if they've moved it back that far?
Because it's still there's a 25-foot corner side yard, so they're still within that corner side yard. So that variance, and it's higher than what we would allow there. So they still needed the variance. They amended their petition, as Trustee Kammerher stated, from the first petition was to put it right on the property line. The zoning board turned that down. They came back in and amended it to this setback.
And are the petitioners here?
Ms. McCoyak is here.
Why do you want a 6-foot fence? And please understand, that's a big fence, 6 feet.
Scott, do you have the microphone? Scott, do you have the microphone for her? Could she have the microphone, maybe?
We have 2 little kids, and we want our privacy. We live on a super busy street. Bartlett Road is there's so much traffic all the time, and we just want the safety for our kids. We want our privacy, and this is why we came back, building the fence 10 feet from the sidewalk.
Thank you.
And the top portion of the fence is lattice, so it really is
Yes, it is. So it's pretty much 5 feet full privacy, and then the foot is open. They don't have 5 feet fences because we would have to have it custom built, and obviously that's so expensive.
Yeah.
So
I drove by your property the other day and noticed that the trees, I didn't notice that they looked to be dying, and it seemed to me in part of what I'd read that...
2 of them are.
2 of them are. But
yes.
The intent is obviously, you can do whatever you want on your own property. I'm all for people doing whatever they want. It's on your own property. But I thought it looked quite nice with the trees there, and it was secluding you even further. And if you had a fence and the trees, you couldn't ask for too much more privacy than that.
I'm sorry, but like you said that with the trees right now and the fence, the 3-foot fence?
No. With if you had a 6-foot fence and the
I don't know if we're going to take those trees out even if we do the fence right now.
So the trees may stay?
I think so, yes.
Personally, I thought it looked good with the trees, but that's my opinion.
We would want to do the shrubs, honestly, because it looks nicer, and just replace those trees with the, what they're called? Ooh.
Not ash.
No. No, those...
Are they an evergreen?
We have our arborists over there.
We've had it in the application.
Arborvitaes?
Poplar?
I don't know what they're called. But there's
Hopefully
just
they're
too
good
many...
climbing trees.
But there's just too many people walking with their dogs, and we've heard that, they're not gonna stay alive if the dog pretty much, pees on it. What are they? I don't know what they're called. I forgot. This is. We really want this fence. When we moved in, we didn't know that on the corner lot we cannot have a 6-foot fence because that was our major thing when we purchased a house, which we found out soon after. We also would have done it 2 years ago for the variance, but we've been told that there was a variance, that people have applied for the variance and they got denied. So we pretty much stopped. And yeah, now we were doing the asphalt, and I don't know, I went upstairs and I asked if it really was, if people really that lived there before us have applied for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Jim or Brian, could you just clarify for me a little bit? If the variance were granted, does that variance stay with the owner or does it stay with the property? In other words, if they were to sell the property 5 years from now, a new owner comes in and they tear that fence down for whatever reason, once that fence has been removed, they're off Gould then, correct?
No, they could build, the variance would stay with the property. So they would be able to build a fence that's 10 feet off the property line and 6 foot high.
So once we grant a variance to that property, it extends into perpetuity?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Aaron's?
Yes.
Camera?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes.
That motion carries.
And that is all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Kammerer. The next item on the agenda is the Building Committee. Chairman Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Martin. Next item on the agenda is Finance and Golf Committee. Chairman Ranky.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one item on the agenda this evening, the Microsoft Office 2013 purchase. I have a few questions for staff, considering that this is $36,500.
Hi, Chairman Ricky.
Okay. So we're getting 110 licenses, and that's the price that we still quote out at $36,000?
Yes, and that's state pricing, so we're getting quite a discount because that's off the state's master contract with Microsoft.
Okay. Is there an alternative software that we can use other than Word?
We've been standardized on Office, as almost 90% of the country is, and we do that just so we can be compatible with people we interchange documents with. Actually, this may be our last opportunity not, you may have noticed that Microsoft's kind of moving towards a subscription-based selling of their software. Like if you go buy Office for Home, it's a subscription now, and you pay annually to have this. I got a feeling this will probably continue to be rolled out to enterprises. They already have that. It's called Office 365. If we were purchasing that now, it would cost us $34,000 a year to have that software. So this may be our last opportunity for purchasing the software outright as opposed to having a subscription for it.
I should have gone into the software business.
And I'll add that Office 365 works sparingly on your smartphone.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I move to approve the purchase of 110 licenses for Office 2013 from CDWG through the State of Illinois Microsoft agreement for an amount not to exceed $36,500.
Second.
It's moved by Trustee Ranky, seconded by Trustee Kammerer. Is there any other discussion? Come on, let's grill him about this software.
Do we actually have 110 computers? I only did that because you said that. Throughout?
We actually have more than 110, but not all of them need Office on them. So those are all the ones that are being used that have Office now and need Office to continue to be there.
Don't like open office, huh?
I'm sorry?
You don't like open office?
I just, there's enough. Actually, we have open office on some of the tough books and the police squads. The problem is they go to edit a Word document and it tends to reformat it in such a way that causes them more work.
It's all right.
So we have actually looked at open office.
Just another alternative. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Aaron's? Kammerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing further.
Thank you, Chairman Ranky. Item D on the agenda, License and Ordinance Committee, Chairman Carbonaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two items that were removed from the consent agenda. We have an amplifier permit request from the Bartlett Chamber of Commerce requesting approval for a permit to operate an amplifier for live bands at Leisburg Park, 325 East Devon. This event is scheduled to take place on Friday, September 5th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday, September 6th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, September 7th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Do we have a motion to approve the amplifier permit request for the Chamber?
Second.
I said, do we have a motion?
You got to make the motion.
Moved by Trustee Carbonaro, seconded by Trustee Martin. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes.
Kammerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Abstain.
Shipman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Next item is an all-around amusement. The Bartlett Chamber of Commerce is requesting a carnival license application. All-Around Amusement Incorporated has submitted the carnival license application on behalf of the Bartlett Chamber of Commerce. The carnival is planned for September 5th through the 7th at Leisburg Park. State law requires the carnivals to conduct at the time of hire a criminal history check, and it appears the licenses and their insurance is intact. Motion to approve the application.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Carbonaro, seconded by Trustee Kammerer. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes.
Kammerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Abstain.
Shipman?
Yes.
That motion carries.
I have nothing further to report, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Trustee Carbonaro. Next under the agenda, item E, Police and Health Committee, Chairman Shipman.
Nothing under the board meeting tonight. We do have one committee agenda, or committee item on the committee of the whole later on.
Thank you, Chairman Shipman. Finally, Public Works Committee, Chairman Ahrens.
Our only agenda item was covered under the consent agenda, so we have nothing more to report this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Ahrens. Item number 13 on our agenda is under new business. Is there any new business at this point the board would like to address? There is one thing that I will make note of. All of you received an email outlining a recommendation for an appointment to the Plan Commission. And at this point, I'll be reappointing Jerry Callis to the Plan Commission.
Excellent.
That requires a motion to concur with the appointment.
Motion to concur.
I move we appoint Jerry Callis to the Plan Commission.
Second.
Then moved by Trustee Ahrens, seconded by Trustee Ranky. The clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Ahrens?
Yes.
Kammerer?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Shipman?
Yes.
That motion carries.
If I can make a comment, Jerry Callis has been on the Plan Commission had been on the Plan Commission for quite some time. He's always been a very productive and outspoken member of the Plan Commission, so having him back, I think, will be good for the village, good for everybody.
That's all said. Any other new business? Hearing none, we'll move on to the question and answer. At this point, does anybody have any questions for the staff?
Comments?
Comments? We can do comments.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment about the cooperation of the village in the 4th of July celebration. Being a member of the 4th of July committee so far, I want to say that the police presence was unbelievable, and Kent, you should commend all your personnel who contributed to the success of the 4th of July. Bartlett takes a big heads up in all the celebrations throughout Chicagoland as being one of the safest, and we should take a lot of pride in knowing that the people in town and from out of town can come to a festival of this sort and feel safe. And that sure means a lot. And the village, Dan, the Public Works Department, always is so supportive of this event, as it should be, I think, because it is one of the biggest events the village has all year long. So I don't know if the 4th of July committee is going to come in and say thank you, but as a trustee, I want to tell you how proud I am that we support this festival so much. And thank you to the department heads. Bob Gavlik, I don't want to leave you out. Of course, we have the firecracker open. And Brian Goralski, of course, you contribute your fair share to that festival. But thank you so much for making Bartlett's Festival one of the best in Chicagoland. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well done. Yeah.
You know what? It was another good community event that's very safe. National Night Out on the 5th.
Oh, yes.
Coming up.
Back to back.
Absolutely.
I hope to see everyone there.
Yeah, Bob, somebody mentioned to me the Firecracker Open, and they said, you should go play in it. And then they saw me golf, and they said, maybe you shouldn't. Any other comments at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Aaron, seconded by Trustee Martin. Would the clerk please call the roll? We will take a 2 or 3 minute recess in between this meeting and the next meeting, so for those spectators who aren't familiar with how these meetings work, we'll adjourn the regular board meeting, and let's say 5 minutes, we're going to go right into the committee of the whole meeting.
Trustee Aaron's?
Yes.
Camera?
Yes?
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Chipman?
Yes.
We are adjourned.